Good evening. For those of you who have not met me earlier this week, I am Bob Adler. I'm the Dean of the S.J. Quinney College of Law, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you to our 16th annual swearing-in ceremony at the College of Law. Some of you are guests, and I want to give you a special welcome, family and friends. You've played a really special role in helping our fabulous incoming class be here. They appreciate your support. They will need your support in the next 3 years, and they will appreciate it as well. You, in turn, are going to have to put up with their endless griping about how TV and movie lawyer shows get it wrong. Don't worry, they'll get over it, maybe by mid-career or so. To the students, congratulations. You have now completed the hardest part of law school, intro week, right? But I have one more final exam question for you. And here's the deal. If just one of you gets it right, you all pass. And if no one gets it right, you have to go back and redo intro week, okay? So the stakes here are really high. So the question is, what do you do with an idea? You change the world. Okay, all of you have to thank your classmate, right? Because you don't have to go back and redo intro week. You change the world. That's what lawyers do with ideas. That's what distinguishes changing the world through the rule of law from all those other less palatable ways that people try to change the world. So now you've really gotten through intro week. You've really passed intro week. But I actually want to tell you that it's all smooth sailing from here on. A little bit facetious, but what I really want you to understand is what you've learned this week. You've realized a number of important things. One is, this is really interesting, right? You made the right choice of being here. Number two, you can do this. We admitted you for a reason. We have confidence in you, and hopefully you understood this week that you can do this. You can get through these 3 years and be a really good lawyer. You've realized that the person sitting next to you is your friend and your colleague. They're here to help you. They're not here to steal your grade. They're not here to steal your job. Back in the day, there was this old adage, look to the left, look to the right. Only one of you will be here at the end. Those days are gone. We have a number of alumni who remember those days. I kind of remember those days, not for you. We have confidence that all of you are going to succeed. You've realized that all those folks in the back of the room, your family and friends, are here to help you and to support you. And hopefully you've realized that everyone at the College of Law, our faculty, our staff, our administration, we're committed to helping you and to help you succeed over the next 3 years. So again, I want to thank everyone who's responsible for Orientation Week, Dean Aguilar and our entire admissions staff, our events and our IT staff who fed you and supported you all week, Dean Dickey and the Registrar's Office, and I particularly want to thank our Intro to Law Week faculty, Professors Davies, Richards, Hill, Heine, Huang, and Judge Rich McKelvey. So please help me to thank all those people that helped you this week. So I know it's been a long week. You've heard a lot of words. I have just a few comments about why we're here this evening, and then it will be my pleasure to introduce Justice Peterson to add her perspective and to administer the oath. You will learn that the law is divided roughly into two general categories, but they overlap of substance and procedure. One dictates how we do things, and the other dictates why we do things. So you should forget that old adage of form over substance. Both are important and both are related. So this evening, we've got a procedure. We have a ceremony. It's a ceremony through which you will attest to and commit to the substance of your duties as future attorneys and as future members of the bar. Ceremonies are important. They bind us together as communities. They bind us together as communities who have shared values. And these are the shared values that attorneys hold dear: integrity, ethics, civility, professionalism, and justice. And remember that I also asked you on Monday morning to spend at least part of the next 3 years thinking about what justice means to you and to your generation and to society. And as I also mentioned on Monday, those values are being tested in our somewhat divisive times. And again, it's lawyers who lead the way. It's lawyers who role model civility for the rest of society, who treat everyone, including our adversaries, with dignity and respect. So to give you more perspective on what that means and to administer the oath, it's my pleasure to introduce Justice Paige Peterson of the Utah Supreme Court. She's a graduate of the second best law school in the country, Yale Law School, after the University of Utah, of course. But she's also a Ute. She graduated with her undergraduate degree summa cum laude from the University of Utah. After that, she clerked for the U.S. District Court in the Southern District of Ohio. She practiced law in New York, first as a civil litigator, then as an assistant U.S. attorney, and then she went to the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia in The Hague. So she knows a little something about dealing with divisive issues in a very professional and a very civil way. We're all very fortunate that she returned to Utah, first to join the U.S. Attorney's Office here, then to be appointed to the bench as a third district court judge, and in 2017, she was appointed by Governor Herbert to the Utah Supreme Court. Please help me to welcome Justice Peterson.
Welcome to law school, everyone. I am so happy to be here with you today. Thank you so much for inviting me to do this. It really is my pleasure to be with law students because almost without fail, as I get to know students of your generation, it gives me such hope for the future of the law. I know you're going to do great things, and so it is my pleasure to be here today and get to know you all a little bit better. I think you've made a great choice to go to law school and to become a lawyer if that's what you end up choosing to do. I started law school 22 years ago, and I remember feeling at that time in the position you're in right now, very excited but also a little bit nervous, and maybe you're feeling the same way. You're stepping into a new chapter of your life, and doing new things can always be sort of scary. You're taking on a new challenge. You are surrounded by new people. Many of you have moved here to go to law school, so you're in a new place that's not familiar. I hope the next 3 years are a fantastic experience for you. But what I want to tell you is you have a lot of influence over whether it will be a fantastic experience. And I want to say a few things to you that I hope will help you to make your law school experience and your career as a lawyer even better. So first, be honest and be nice. Now that is simplified. I'll explain a little bit. We've all heard various lawyer jokes, and they basically center on a few themes: that lawyers lie, and they're mean, and they're nasty, and they'll do anything to win. But that is not accurate. I have been in the field of law for 19 years, and I can tell you that's not actually how it works. For those lawyers who do practice that way, and there are some, I think they suffer for it. They're in the minority, and I think they suffer for it. It's generally not very effective or persuasive. In many ways, it hampers their career, and I have to imagine that they are not very happy people practicing that way. Luckily, most lawyers don't practice that way, and in the Utah legal community, we take ethics and professionalism and civility very seriously, and I'm so impressed that the law school makes that a priority from day one and expresses that very clearly. So today you're going to take an oath, and I want to highlight a couple of things that are contained in that oath: integrity and civility, or as I said, be honest and be nice. Let's talk about integrity first. So you'll find that in the law, your credibility is very important. You need people to trust you. You need clients to trust the advice that you give them. You need judges to trust that you're making a good faith argument and that your representations are accurate. You need opposing counsel to trust that you're a person of your word so that they'll be cooperative with you and work with you. You need them to know if you agree to something that you're going to stand by it. Your reputation is priceless, and no amount that any client can ever pay you is worth giving up that reputation. So I hope you'll make a commitment today to act with integrity at all times, even when no one is watching. And then next, civility. So civility means being cooperative and professional and fair and treating others with respect. And it means doing that in an adversarial system. So I definitely don't mean that you shouldn't represent a client zealously. That's your job. You should make the arguments you need to make. You can say no. You can say, I don't agree. But do it with professionalism. Do it with respect. As a former trial court judge, I can tell you there was not much worse than watching two lawyers call each other names or fight over silly things and take up my time fighting over things that didn't matter because they couldn't get along. It's really annoying, and I think that it hurts a client's case when a lawyer does that. And that kind of behavior can be harmful in many ways, and I'll give you just one example. So when I applied to be a judge, we have a great system in Utah, by the way, where we have a merit-based system. It's not political. We have an independent commission where you can apply and they will judge you on your merits, and the governor ultimately decides from people who are forwarded by that commission. So we are really lucky that we have a system that's not an election or just pure politics. And they vet you. They really vet you. So you have to fill out an application, and one of the parts of the application is references. And I was surprised to find out I couldn't just cherry pick the people I thought would say the nicest things about me. I had to write down for quite a few cases the attorney who was on the other side. And those people get called. And I was really glad that I hadn't acted like a jerk, because for people who have treated other lawyers badly, that would be a complete dead end. This would be a career path that would be blocked for those people, because other people would say they weren't civil. And that's something that's important. So being uncivil can harm you. I want to challenge you to do more, though, than just to be civil to each other. That's an important floor that you shouldn't stoop below, but especially in law school, it's not the ceiling. I want to challenge you to open your eyes and your ears to all the people who are surrounding you right now, to really get to know them, to become friends with them, and to foster relationships that will truly enrich your lives. When I started law school, I didn't know any of my classmates, and I felt anxious about whether I would make friends and whether people would like me, which I think is a very normal thing to feel when you come into a group of people who you don't know. And what I ended up deciding to do was to reverse my focus and to think about getting to know other people instead of thinking about how nervous I felt. And I thought to myself, clearly I can remember thinking this to myself, every single person here is interesting. Every person here has valuable insights. I'm surrounded by people who are different than me. They come from different backgrounds. They come from different places. They have different ethnicities. They have different religions. And getting to know them will make my life better. And instead of worrying about myself, I focused on getting to know those people. And this worked a lot better than standing nervously in a corner. Truly, of all the things that I learned in law school, nothing was more meaningful and valuable to me than what I learned from my classmates and the friendships, the lifetime friendships that I made, which I still have to this day. So I challenge you to really listen to each other and to really try to communicate with each other and get to know each other, to honestly get to know each other. Listen first and understand first before you seek to persuade. And if you do that, you are going to love law school. And finally, I just have one last word of advice. Your well-being is important. It's taken us a long time to realize that part of being a lawyer and a judge and a law student is actually taking care of ourselves. And I don't only mean your physical health, and that's an important piece of it, but I mean taking care of yourself in all the ways that are necessary to really thrive and be happy as a human being. And I think this is so important, and the Utah Supreme Court thinks this is so important, that this year we've actually started a task force on lawyer well-being with the Utah State Bar. And I'm one of the co-chairs of it, which I was very happy when they asked me to do it. I'm so committed to it because I know that for me, figuring out how to do this, how to thrive and be happy while being a lawyer, was absolutely key to any success that I've had as a lawyer and a judge, and it was life-changing for me. It was the difference between going through life feeling good and happy and content, or going through life feeling anxious and a sense of dread on Sunday night when I knew I had to go back to work on Monday morning. It's important. And it's because we're not just lawyers, we're people, and we're not just having a career, we're living a life. And you need to remember that. As you go through your first year of law school, there could be times when you feel stress and anxiety. I know that I absolutely felt that. I had times that I even felt overwhelmed, and I felt like I didn't understand what I was learning. I didn't know what was going on, and somehow everyone else did. Why do these other people understand this, and I don't know what's happening? I think it's normal to feel that way, and I think the big secret is other people felt that way too. And if you feel that way, you don't need to bottle it up. You can commiserate with each other. This is what I've learned over my career. Commiserate with each other, support each other. If you think you need help and support, go and get that help and support. Other people are feeling the same way. And part of being a good lawyer is learning how to handle that and to take care of yourself in a smart way. It's not bottling it up and going around with a knot because you feel nervous about what you don't know or what you need to get done. It's realizing that you're important and you need to take care of yourself and be smart about that, because you'll be a better lawyer and you'll live a better life if you do that. So I think the challenge of being a lawyer, one of the challenges, is that you're always learning something new. And I found that you just have to embrace that. Embracing it allows that to become enjoyable and energizing instead of anxiety-producing, stressful, and demoralizing. So embrace the fact that you can have a career where you could be learning new things for the rest of your life. There aren't that many people who can actually say that, and I've now been at this for quite a while. I'm still learning new things every week, every day, and it can be overwhelming at times, but how many people get to say that they get to learn new things for the rest of their life? Instead of letting the stress of that overwhelm you, focus on this. You're growing. With each new thing you learn, each new thing you encounter and master, you encounter a new thing, you master it. Each time you do that, you've grown into something bigger and better and stronger and smarter than you were before. Take that as a challenge, as a positive challenge to be engaged in, and know that you can do it. Know that you're growing and that you are very capable of hiking up whatever new learning curve is in front of you. And I would just add that as you're hiking up that learning curve, just remember to enjoy the scenery and the company of your fellow hikers. So thank you so much. I wish you very good luck in your first year. I hope I see you all around in the Utah legal community. doing your amazing things that you're all going to do. And now I'll give you the oath. Do you have people stand? Okay, so stand and raise your right hand. Okay. I do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Utah. That I will discharge the duties of law student with honesty and fidelity. And that I will strictly observe the student code, the Utah standards of professionalism and civility, and the Utah rules of professional conduct, as they apply to my professional, educational, and personal activities as a law student. Thank you very much. You can be seated.
Please help me to thank Justice Peterson. That was very inspiring and very helpful. So congratulations again to our incoming class. Thank all of you for being here. We invite you for refreshments out in the foyer. We're trying something new to prevent the blockage that tends to happen at this door. So please exit the east doors and go around that way, and I promise you the food is still there. And enjoy yourself. Thank you very much.